when the UK's £3.5 billion Prince of Wales aircraft carrier strike group set sail for the Asia-Pacific region with ambitious plans to flex its muscles. It was forced to make emergency landings at civilian airports in India and Japan with two F-35B stealth fighters worth $110 million each, leaving the group stranded for 37 days. This series of costly groundings raises the question, is this a result of the inherent flaws of the U.S. Lightning II being fully exposed under the high temperatures of the Asia-Pacific region, or has the once proud carrier-based aircraft support capability of the British Royal Navy already been reduced to a paper tiger due to budget cuts? This is the second time in 2 months that the same scenario has unfolded on the same aircraft carrier. On June the 14th, another F-35B was forced to make an emergency landing at Trivandrum International Airport in India due to adverse weather and hydraulic issues, remaining stranded for a full 37 days. To protect technical secrets, the UK and US refused to allow Indian technicians to access the aircraft, instead dispatching experts from their home countries to perform repairs outdoors. The $150 million stealth fighter jet lay idle for over a month in the monsoon rains, becoming a laughingstock on social media, and jokingly referred to as a long-term vacationer who fell in love with mango curry. The Prince of Wales aircraft carrier's Asia-Pacific tour was originally intended as a show of force under the UK's Global Britain strategy. After setting sail in April 2025, the UK Defence Secretary made a high-profile declaration in Australia that the carrier was ready for combat. Starting August the 4th, the UK joined the US, Japan, Australia, and 5 other countries in large-scale military exercises in the East China Sea, focusing on anti-submarine warfare and island-taking operations. The highlight of the exercises occurred on August the 9th. F-35B fighter jets from the UK, US, and Japan made their first simultaneous takeoff and landing on the deck of Japan's Kaga light aircraft carrier. The UK military's official account hailed this as a symbol of a new era of Indo-Pacific cooperation. However, this carefully orchestrated display of military might suffered a fatal blow within 24 hours. As the F-35B made an emergency landing in Kagoshima, the historic moment of the three-nation joint exercise had yet to fade from headlines worldwide. The UK Ministry of Defence rushed to contain the damage, claiming the two malfunctions were completely unrelated and emphasizing that we successfully execute thousands of F-35 flights annually without accidents. However, the actual data is more concerning. The two emergency landings accounted for over 10% of the carrier's 18 aircraft, meaning more than 1/10 of the carrier's aircraft have lost combat capability. The reliability issues with the F-35B had been warned about earlier. A U.S. Department of Defense report noted that the F-35 series has 857 technical defect, 7 of which are critical defect. The B model, capable of vertical takeoff and landing, is the problem child of the entire family. Out of the 9 F-35s that have crashed globally, 6 were B models, accounting for over 60%. Its design flaw lies in the addition of a lift fan in the mid-section of the fuselage to accommodate vertical takeoff and landing, requiring the exhaust nozzle to be angled 90 degrees, resulting in an extremely fragile mechanical structure. More critically, U.S. military tests in 2024 confirmed that the F-35B's failure rate surges by 50% in high-temperature, high-humidity environments, a typical climate in the Asia-Pacific region during summer. When the fighter jet made an emergency landing in India, the UK exposed a deeper crisis. To protect sensitive technology, the UK and the US refused to allow Indian technicians to access the aircraft, instead dispatching a repair team from their home countries with parts specially approved by Lockheed Martin. This exposed the UK's fatal shortcomings in overseas deployments. Its mobile repair equipment can only handle simple faults, while complex faults must be repaired at the factory. During repairs in India, British engineers even required remote guidance from Lockheed Martin to disassemble hydraulic lines. The Prince of Wales itself faces an even more dire situation. Out of its 18 carrier-based aircraft, 6 are leased from the US Marine Corps, and the remaining 12 must be rotated back to the UK for maintenance, leaving fewer than 10 actually operational. This £3.5 billion aircraft carrier is itself a sickly vessel. It was grounded for 6 months in 2022 due to a broken propeller shaft, and in 2024, it was involved in a collision with an escort destroyer, as well as a fire pipe leak that flooded 3 decks. The so-called carrier strike group consists of only one Type 45 destroyer and one Type 23 frigate for escort duties, with the remainder relying on friendly assistance from countries such as Spain and Canada. The series of accidents involving the F-35B stem from the inherent contradictions of vertical takeoff and landing technology. To accommodate the lift fan, the F-35B's fuel capacity has been reduced by 28% compared to conventional models, resulting in an operational radius of just 505 nautical miles. When deployed on Japan's Izumo-class light aircraft carriers, the issue worsens further. Without a ski jump deck or arresting system, its range is reduced by over 50%, with an operational radius plummeting to just a few hundred kilometers. A U.S. government report revealed a systemic crisis. According to a 2022 U.S. Government Accountability Office report, the F-35B's mission readiness rate for the 2021 fiscal year fell below the target of 41%. The root cause lies in the engine. The U.S. Department of Defense accepts a 6% rate of F-35s grounded due to engine issues, while the military's expected rate is 1%. Reality is even more grim. In February 2022, out of approximately 450 F-35s, 36 were grounded due to engine issues, with the grounding rate exceeding 8%. The modular maintenance strategy, designed to save costs by replacing specific modules instead of entire engines to reduce spare engine requirements, has led to severe shortages of power modules due to maintenance speeds failing to keep pace. Compared to the F-22, which employs a three-tier maintenance system, the F-35's two-tier system lacks the intermediate-level rapid inspection capabilities, leading to severe backlogs at maintenance sites. When the British aircraft carrier deployed in the Asia-Pacific region far from its home base, these systemic flaws were amplified by the high-temperature, high-humidity environment. The British aircraft carrier's deterrence mission turned into a disaster mission, reflecting deeper strategic miscalculations. When the HMS Prince of Wales bypassed the South China Sea and chose to detour to Japan, its risk-averse maneuver exposed its lack of confidence. Meanwhile, Japan's concurrent F-35B deployment plan is also faltering. On August 7, 3 F-35Bs landed at the new Tachikawa base in Miyazaki Prefecture, but the fourth aircraft, originally scheduled for delivery, remained stranded in the U.S. due to a malfunction. Japan spent $3.2 billion to apply heat-resistant coatings to the Izumo to withstand the 980 degrees C exhaust temperatures generated by F-35B vertical takeoffs and landings. However, its 42 F-35Bs rely on U.S. military refueling aircraft to extend their range, software upgrades are controlled by the Pentagon, and even pilot training requires support from U.S. Marine Corps instructors. When the Ministry of Defense announced that combat readiness would be achieved by 2030, China's Fujian-class aircraft carrier was conducting full-scale testing of the J-35 fighter jet. Tonnage data reveals the gap in capabilities. The Izumo class has a full load displacement of 27,000 tons, equivalent to only 45% of the Liaoning class, and can carry a maximum of 20 F-35B jets, which cannot take off and land simultaneously. In contrast, the Fujian-class carrier is equipped with an electromagnetic catapult, enabling it to deploy 70 J-35 fighters and KJ-600 early warning aircraft in coordinated operations. The series of accidents involving the F-35B ultimately became a case study of the mutual losses resulting from U.S. and British technological arrogance and strategic overreach. The UK attempted to support its global deployment ambitions with 36 F-35B fighters, but the high temperatures and humidity of the Asian summer exposed the weaknesses in its logistics system. Meanwhile, the U.S. prioritized cost-saving designs such as modular maintenance and two-tier support over combat readiness, resulting in the F-35B becoming a hangar queen. While Japanese netizens mocked, the UK has proven through actual combat that the F-35B is unsuitable for the Asia-Pacific region, and Indian netizens joke, have they fallen for green tea this time? The real warning lies in the fact that the complexity of advanced weapon systems far exceeds the expectations of politicians. At Lockheed Martin's production line, China's export restrictions on strategic metals like gallium and germanium have caused F-35 production to plummet by 50% in 2024, exposing the fragility of the global supply chain. On August 15, 1945, the last Zero fighter plane crashed in Kagoshima, marking the end of Japan's aircraft carrier dominance. 80 years later on the same day, the roar of F-35B's landing at the new base became an ironic echo of history. These so-called self-defense aircraft are firmly controlled by the U.S., from the production line to the training system. The gap in industrial capabilities across the Pacific is reshaping the balance of power. While the UK struggles with two faulty fighter jets, China's aircraft carrier fleet is already heading toward a new era of electromagnetic catapults and fifth-generation carrier-based aircraft. History never waits for the Latekimers, especially when its range is only 505 nautical miles. While the Prince of Wales continues to dock at the Yokosuka base, waiting for engineers to fly in from the mainland to repair the fighter jets. Shipyards on the other side of the Pacific are building the next generation of supercarriers on an industrial scale. The essence of the aircraft carrier race is a contest between industrial systems and strategic patience. The former can rent fighter jets to maintain appearances, while the latter requires decades of steadfast investment.